Welcome to Debating Your Dollars, where two financial advisors with two opinions have one goal in mind, helping you make sound financial decisions around your dollars working for you. Today, we are going to talk about a very, very controversial topic in the wealth management space, one that has been raging for my entire 23-year career. And that is where or if annuities have any place in your financial plan. Over 23 years, I don't know if there's been a more hotly contested topic in the wealth management space when it comes to annuities and how and if they should be used. There's a lot of articles written about their benefits, their shortcomings, and how they are used and should be used. And I'm interested to hear your opinion first, especially being relatively new to the profession over the last 3 years, going through the certified financial planning process, education, test. What opinion do you have about annuities and what place they have in a wealth management plan?
Well, let's start here. I guess I had a bias when I first started in this industry with annuities. I watched a grandparent a long time ago go through some pretty heinous annuity products. Sure. So entering this profession, I knew that I did not want to go to a place that only sold annuities and only pushed annuity products.
Right.
That was the original scar. You know, you don't remember everything as a young grandkid,
Right.
but you do remember seeing your grandparents crying over certain financial things.
Yeah.
And since they passed, you never got to hear their side of the story. I was so young I couldn't comprehend it even. And if they were still alive today, I would go back and ask those questions. But so I definitely came in with a bias about them, right? But as you get here and as you develop, you see the good, the bad, and the ugly of annuities. There's a lot of good things that annuities can do.
I would agree.
I would say clients don't protect themselves enough from financial firms with annuities. They don't understand it. And if you don't understand it,
I guess in their defense, annuities can be very complex
absolutely.
products. They are more than just, I bought this, now I want to sell this and make a different decision. They're contracts.
Yeah.
And they're contracts with insurance companies. And an annuity is actually one of the oldest types of investments.
Yeah.
Ben Franklin, I think, if I have the founding father correct, really had the first annuity program where you delivered your money to him on a regular basis and he projected a income for you. And that was an annuity in the rawest form where you were giving up today's dollars for tomorrow's income. And they have, I'll use the term evolved. They've evolved tremendously over the last 250 years. And specifically, really, in the last decade or so, they've evolved even more. Now that we are a fiduciary, we're required to make recommendations that are in folks' best interest.
Yeah.
And not just say that, but show our work and how these recommendations are in people's best interest. It's cleaned up tremendously.
So even since I joined here, something I will appreciate, we do have some annuities
Sure.
In our business.
There are good annuity companies. There are situations where annuities make the most sense.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, but we've also seen folks come in with bad annuities.
Yeah,
absolutely. And annuities that they didn't know what they were buying. They didn't understand what the product did or didn't do, and what they thought was going to happen and what happened were two totally different things. And that's where an annuity is much different than a stock. A stock, you kind of have two choices.
Yeah.
It can go up, it can go down. An annuity can, with riders and things, and this is where they get confusing, can be going up while they're going down with the riders can be going up in two separate ways as they're rising, and they get very complex, and folks that buy them with all the great intentions, I like to think advisors are selling them or using them with great intentions. The tricky part is because they are and can be very rigid.
Yeah.
When a client's circumstances change, unfortunately, sometimes the annuity can't change.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with surrender charges that are imposed, with riders that become very rigid, when circumstances change, sometimes the annuity can't. And that is a shortcoming of annuities. And that's the nature of the beast.
And I think people misuse them all the time too. Like it makes sense. And say for like an ultra high net worth person, if they have to take 10% of their portfolio that is pushing out guaranteed income from the annuity, right? As a product, it can make sense to do that and then use that as kind of your nest egg or bottom half of your portfolio.
Right.
In case there is a market following, you always have what you need coming in from the annuity.
Well, and
it gives you
that's
risk.
a textbook definition of insurance.
Right, yeah.
That's what insurance is there to do in any capacity, whether it's annuity, life insurance, disability insurance, homeowners, auto.
Yeah.
It is there to protect in the event of the unpredictable. It's
Yeah.
there to protect in the event that something unforeseen happens.
Yeah.
It's there to protect a liability that maybe you can't protect yourself with your cash.
Yeah.
And at the heart of this, that's what an annuity should be and should be first.
Yeah.
Is insurance against income.
Yeah.
Insurance against longevity.
Yeah.
And your income through longevity. Annuities, they're issued by life insurance companies.
Yeah.
Insurance, if you can't get life insurance, an annuity is a great way to get an added death benefit regardless of what the market's doing.
Yeah. I think, but to your point then, people, like, it seems like people hyper focus. They get so terrified of the stock market.
Sure.
And I understand that. But you need you need adaptive money.
Yes.
And like an annuity's not adaptive money. You can't.
Some annuities are not.
Yeah.
We have to be careful there because annuities have evolved.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the advent of advisory style annuities that are a lot more adaptive.
Yeah.
And a lot more fiduciarily responsible than something that imposes a surrender charge, that you're not penalized when your circumstances change, so to speak. You can be, and you may lose some riders that you've been paying for. But the other thing is, what do we know is the only constant in this business? Change.
Death, taxes, inflation.
Death tax, inflation, and change. And as this profession has evolved over 23 years, that's been the only constant for me is change.
Yeah.
And that constant has been in financial products as much as it's been in the profession.
Yeah.
Mutual funds have adapted and changed in the strategies that they can deploy. ETFs have emerged as a product that can give us both passive and active management inside of one portfolio.
Yeah. It's never been easier to buy a basket of stocks.
Right. And annuities have evolved from a very rigid insurance contract to a mechanism that can adapt.
Yeah.
And, I know our peers are adapting with it. Hopefully they're adapting with the products, and they're not just sold anymore.
Yeah.
They're used because our profession has evolved from a wealth product sales profession to an advice
service-based industry.
Service-based profession where we have a responsibility over the advice we deliver. And one thing when we talk about annuities, and over the last 23 years, we've seen multiple movements in the market.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion, they're either asked for or oversold at the completely wrong times.
I love that you're bringing this up. It's just a history. If you look at the stats of annuity sales, go back to year like 2008, end of 2008, start 2009. I guarantee
Flying off
annuity
the
sales
shelves.
peaked. Yeah,
They were hitting their capacity every month or every year, and the time to buy the annuity, and again, market timing is a fool's errand.
Oh, sure.
But would have been July of 07,
Yeah.
not February of 09.
Yeah.
And it's the innate nature of our business where the opposite reactions happen at the wrong times. And it's because every decision's made from either greed or fear.
Yeah.
And we're afraid in 09 and we're greedy in 07. And maybe some of the other instincts should have kicked in. And you see it in 2022. Annuities start to reemerge because the market is down and folks are nervous and scared. Justifiably so.
Yeah.
They're funding their retirement. So
I think type of account with the annuities matter a lot too. Like,
sure.
One of the main things you lose with an annuity, take any brokerage account. If you move that brokerage account over to annuity, you get taxed as ordinary income. It's tax deferred,
Right.
Until you. And so basically, what that means
That's
for the audience.
to clarify that's a non-qualified,
Yes.
non-IRA annuity.
Yes. So when you move your brokerage account or non-qualified account over to an annuity, it's tax deferred until you. So all your gains, you don't pay any taxes on it until you pull the money out. When you start pulling it out, you get taxed as income.
Right.
Which for
On the growth.
The growth. But for high income earners with large 401ks, large IRAs that are already pulling RMDs, you're going to be 22, 24, 32% tax bracket, and your capital gains tax bracket would have been 15.
Right.
So it better be the perfect product for you.
Right.
To pay double in taxes. And I don't think enough people talk about that.
Sure.
I think they hear tax deferred and think it's all good. But basically what you're doing is you're just taxing yourself twice because that's the difference of the tax rates. So no one ever considers that. And then two, I think it's really important if you want to, the reason I like free money better is there are products out there in annuities that.
Niko, you know where there's free money?
It doesn't exist.
No. Okay.
But when I say free money in like a brokerage account, and your standard brokerage account, liquid money instead of an annuity is you can leave an estate. And generational wealth is not something talked about enough. Mm-hmm. Everyone focuses on their picture, but looking back and seeing certain clients come in, I'm like, do you know how much more you would have passed, say, if this wasn't in an annuity that, when the annuity gives income, it's giving your money first.
Right.
Right. And it's because it's longevity insurance, and that's what you're paying for. Where if this was just in a brokerage account and you took the same, and we obviously they could have never projected the future returns and have known this, but they left a lot of money for their heirs on the table.
Sure.
So that's something to consider with it too. Like a lot of these equity index annuities what they do is they'll pay out your income or your money first, and then the longevity comes from the insurance company's money.
Right.
So when they do that, you're basically stuck in this contract the rest of your life, and then when you pass away, there's nothing to pass.
Could be, yeah.
And that's not every annuity. That's just the questions clients don't think about until it's too late, and then we can't help. At that point, you can't help if it's if it's paid out your money and your money's gone, and the client didn't know that from the start. It's too tough.
I'm going to offer a counterpoint there, and I completely agree that the taxation needs to be understood.
Yeah.
Because often we're concerned about return, we're concerned about safety, but evidence of being concerned about return, one of the guys who I have followed for 23 years, Nick Murray, was at a conference and was talking about annuities. And Nick Murray is a gruff, very straightforward, matter-of-fact person when it comes to equities.
Yeah.
And when I saw Nick Murray at a conference talk about annuities, the best analogy he has given was annuities can provide an inoculation against risk. And when you think about insurance, that's what your car insurance does.
Sure.
It's an inoculation against the risk that you have an accident that you can't afford.
Yeah.
That you damage somebody else's property, or even worse, have healthcare expenses that become expensive because of an auto accident.
Yeah.
And the risk of the market is scary.
Yeah.
There's no equivocation. And folks are justifiably concerned with their nest egg being at the risk of the market. It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
It can do wonderful things. We've also seen it do very scary things. And the annuity, especially the income riders that can go on an annuity,
Yeah.
can provide that inoculation to the point where folks are no longer afraid of the risk. So, yes, that lump sum may be taxed higher.
Yeah.
However, in our profession, we talk all the time about risk reward. And history has shown that in a lot of cases, the more risk you take, the higher your returns can be.
Yeah.
So are folks giving themselves the greater return potential by having that inoculation against the risk? You know, there's been times we've talked about it where clients that have both,
Yeah.
because both are necessary, will say to me, can't you invest this the same way that you have my annuity account invested?
Yeah.
And the answer is often no.
So
I mean, we could,
Yeah.
but you're going to be taking your liquid money
yeah.
that is not designed for income, that is there to grow or use, and you're going to be exposing it to the same risk level, but also, hopefully we get the same return,
Yeah.
but we're putting it at a much greater risk level. The reason why that annuity has performed the way it has is because we have that insurance wrapper that is protecting maybe our death benefit, our withdrawal benefit, and is giving us the potential to take that risk, have that potentially higher return, and still have a withdrawal or an income
Yeah.
that can be used in the future.
So just because you lost me for 1 second, but I picked you back up. But just to clarify for the audience, what he's saying is that behaviorally, people that are scared of the stock market or, have more emotion tied to the stock market, that because an annuity
who knows
rider-
what they're afraid of?
Sure,
They
just-
the market is the catalyst.
Yeah.
They could be just deathly afraid of losing their income and having no income later, and at 92 needing to eat beans out of a can instead of
Yeah.
the life that they want. And the stock market is the catalyst for those returns or for that fear.
Yeah, but so regardless of where the fear comes from, because there's an income rider on most annuities where they will pay you your account value back in a stream of income over a period of time.
They
See that as a safety net to
Yes.
take risk then in the stock market, because worst case, the insurance company will pay them back their assets in a stream
Right.
of income over time.
Right, they'll have their income for the rest of their life.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll take risk, have a higher return that they maybe wouldn't have subject themselves to that risk or been willing to take that risk
Yeah.
because of the fear of loss.
Yeah.
And when I say legitimate fear of loss,
Yeah.
I can't say that enough.
Sure.
It's not that annuities are better or perform better or get higher returns.
Yeah.
That's not the case at all. They can give us an alternative. Now, the alternative that they give us, the rider, what we haven't talked about yet and what is necessary is that comes at a cost.
Oh, yeah.
Just like your car insurance has a premium.
Yep.
Just like your homeowner's insurance has a premium.
Better health care is typically more
Right.
expensive.
Whatever your health insurance pays, the more it covers, the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
That coverage in an annuity comes at an expense.
Yeah.
That can't be talked about enough, and it's often not. I know our process when we use annuities mandates that we talk about the expenses, that make sure that everybody understands that, yes, you're getting a withdrawal rider.
Yeah.
It's going to protect your withdrawals for life,
Yeah.
but you're paying for that.
Yeah.
And if you're not willing to pay for that, there needs to be another consideration.
I agree.
So it's one of those things where everything you hear bad about annuities, there's an element of truth to it.
Yeah.
Yes, they're more expensive. Yes, they can be illiquid. Yes, they can be very rigid when it comes to distributions. Yes, you could potentially pay higher taxes.
Yeah.
However, they can be useful.
Yeah.
And yes, your auto insurance is expensive, but hopefully you never have to use it.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah, no
but,
one's a
but
paid
you
deductible.
do, you know.
Right?
Hopefully we never have to. You know, it'd be lovely if we didn't have to worry about
A tree falling on your house.
or the market going down.
Yeah.
But the reality is the market is as scary as the highway, and it can be as scary as the weather. And we need to be able to offer solutions that help folks to protect against it. Should everybody have an annuity? No.
Yeah. I agree.
Does an annuity necessitate, or should an annuity be discussed about in every solution? I think behind the scenes they should. I know that when we do and working on a plan for somebody, we will decide if an annuity makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But for a lot of folks, they may not fit, and making sure they fit is necessary. Making sure that you're asking the questions about why are we using this annuity?
Yeah.
Why are we using this annuity versus another annuity? There's tons of annuity companies out there that are high quality companies with great financial records that issue products that can solve what you're looking for. But why are we considering this company versus another? Why are we considering an annuity versus just an advisory account or a mutual fund or an ETF account? Understanding that is very, very important. And on top of it all, understanding how much that annuity costs.
Yeah.
Because none of them are free.
There's no such thing as free
There's
money.
no such thing as a free lunch. That's the first thing my economics teacher in junior high taught us. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So making sure that you're understanding what you're giving up or paying for that annuity is a very, very important topic. I think that we navigated this well. Again, this is a debate that will rage on for the rest of my career, for the rest of Niko's career. You hear ads all the time about the pros and the cons of annuities.
The Hoffman Wealth Management, I think, stamp of approval would be, one, they're highly situational. Make sure you find out your situation with a qualified advisor.
Yeah.
Step 2, know the expenses. You have to understand the expenses. Yes. 2, understand the benefit, or 3, I guess, understand the benefits you're getting from the expenses. And then 4, make sure it's either low surrender or no surrender charge, because understand
or just understanding the surrender charge.
Yeah.
Some may come with a surrender charge that you're more than willing to deal with.
That's true.
That's a reality. Is that some can come with a surrender charge that you're more than willing to deal with.
Yeah.
But understanding what those are and then revisit it, because probably the biggest flaw, and we didn't talk about this, other than the way they're sold, specifically with something called a variable annuity that still has ties to underlying investment options, is they still can be managed.
Yeah.
You can change, in a lot of them, if not all of them, you can change the investment options frequently.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we will see an annuity that's invested today the same way it was sold 10 years ago.
They set it and forget it.
And we know the only constant is change.
Yeah.
And understanding all of those things, ask the questions, make sure you're revisiting the purpose of the annuity, the performance of the annuity, and making sure that it still fits in your plan becomes the paramount way to understand and decide if an annuity makes sense for your situation. Hopefully this discussion was enlightening to you. You can see Niko and I have some agreements, and there are some different things about annuities. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on our website at hoffmanwealth.com.